Hey everyone, and welcome to Adobe Live. I'm Flynn, and I'm excited to be here. You can't see me because we're in a pop-up studio at Adobe. I promise we're at Adobe. But I'm joined by Martina Martian. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very well. And yeah, I love our pop-up studio. And
Yeah.
we could be at Adobe. Who knows where we could
We could be
actually
anywhere in the entire world, right?
No one will know.
It's exciting to welcome you back. I was checking it out, and it's been almost a year since you came on.
Has it been a year?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Might have been just after Max, I think, maybe, or just before. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, a lot has changed.
Long time. It does feel like just yesterday we had you on with a different iPad.
Yeah, a very broken iPad.
A very broken
I'm
iPad,
sure.
which is now retired.
Yeah.
Your traveling lifestyle, it has not survived a year.
No.
You have a brand new one. We're going to check out a new app, Adobe's brand new app.
Yeah, Fresco.
Adobe Fresco.
I love Fresco. I've been so excited for Fresco like all year.
Yeah.
And we couldn't really talk about it, but now I can talk about it and now I can obsess over it publicly. So yeah, it's basically like Adobe's newest drawing app, which is dedicated purely for people that draw like me.
Right.
And yeah, I love it. It's good.
It's been like a long time coming. I remember, I think it was last Max we were there. So Adobe Max, which is the big giant flagship 10,000 people in attendance design
Massive, yeah.
event that is about to happen. And I think last year was the first time I heard about it. And you know, it's been very exciting, kind of coming. Obviously, it's a mobile app.
Yeah, and it only came out like last month. Or,
Yeah,
like
publicly.
Quite recent. Yeah, publicly only came out like a month ago. So yeah, we've been excited about it for like almost a year.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Exactly. And so, hey everyone in the chat. Hey
we
Wayne,
have a chat.
Wayne and Claire. Yeah, we got a chat. It's just the camera that we don't have. So we're screen sharing. We're screen sharing this.
Love that.
So yeah, hi Wayne, hi Claire in the chat. Feel free to ask questions as we go through. But we're just going to get stuck into it because you can't see our lovely faces. So if you are watching this, you can log in using your Creative Cloud account just in the top right-hand corner. Then you can jump in, join us in the chat, say hello. For our regular watchers, we are back, kind of. We're doing this special one just for two reasons. One, Fresco is a really exciting new app, so we wanted to kind of have a little bit of a play around with it with someone that was very talented, like Martina is.
Oh,
and also,
thank you.
you're doing some really amazing tutorial kind of based content. And we thought this would be great for this audience here. We'll create some stuff and we'll put it out into the world. And we'll be back with our regular scheduled programming soon.
Yeah.
So this is very special.
I'm excited to be back, you know?
We're excited to have you here. Okay, well, do you want to sort of get started and we can kind of chat as we go through?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we're in Adobe Fresco right now. And I've just got this photo, and it's a photo my friend Carrie took at a recent trip, actually with Adobe.
Right.
They took us to San Francisco, and we went camping for a couple of days.
That sounds pretty cool.
It was nice.
Camp
yeah.
Adobe.
Camp Adobe. It was literally like summer camp, but for like some of the world's most amazing creative people.
Wow.
Like, yeah, I think there's maybe, I don't know, 12 or 15 of us, and it was all just like photographers, bloggers, artists, illustrators, and yeah, it was just like the best ever. So yeah, she took this photo of me in San Francisco, and
That's nice to be hanging out with a bunch of like really good photographers
yeah,
as well.
it
It's
was
like,
very
hey, can
useful.
you
Exactly.
be my
like,
selfie buddy?
literally, I was like always hanging out with Carrie. Her Instagram is wish, and she's like one of the OG bloggers. Like,
Right.
she's been doing it for over 10 years. Like, she was like back when like lookbook was a thing. Yeah, anyway, she's very inspiring, and every photo she takes is just excellent. So
Right.
when I hang out with her, I'd come away with nice photos, and I'm like, wow,
How good.
what a beneficial friendship.
So useful. What did you barter? Did you trade back anything?
Well, I take her blogging photos too. So she sets up the shot, and then I press the camera
the button.
Yeah. So I'm like a human, yeah, like camera tripod, I guess.
That's awesome.
But yeah, okay, so back to drawing. This is the image she took of me, and I've just loaded it in. So on the left there's like the option to load in like any image that you like from your camera or your camera roll. I just like, yeah, drop this one in, and I've put a few like random layers on the side just because I like to have them all ready. But But the first thing I'm going to do is go into the pixel brushes, so in the top left. And that's where basically all the raster brushes are. And that's like the real distinction, I think, with Fresco, is that they have raster, like pixel and vector brushes all in the same app.
Which is, I don't know how it's technically possible. I know people have been talking about it for a while. But yeah, like people, you know, designers out there, creators out there that have been using software for a while will know that Photoshop is built like on a house of pixels.
Exactly.
And Illustrator is built in the house of vectors.
Yeah. So
and never the two shall meet.
Never. They're supposed to be separate. And yet, Adobe's gone and combined them, and it's...
Seems to be working quite well, huh?
It does,
yeah.
And
cool.
I'm like vector all the way. Adobe Illustrator is like my jam. And I definitely always stick to vectors just because like basically it means that you can scale up your drawing at any size and it'll always stay crisp.
Right.
So if you're doing, you know, like logo designs, anything, it's always going to retain like, the crispiness, which I love. Like, and then when they came out with this app and they said there'd be vector brushes, I was like, okay, yes,
sweet.
Game changer. This is for me. I love it. And so right now though, I'm going to use a pixel brush because they have very nice pencil brushes. I just use standard pencil. I'm not very fancy. I don't have custom brushes or anything like that. And I'm going to turn down the opacity, just so I can see my pencil a bit more. And on a new layer, I'm just going to start sketching out what I want to actually draw. And I usually just do this like, it's kind of mimicking what I do in my sketchbook. Like you always do like a pencil sketch first before you go in with pen. So that's just what I'm doing really.
Like your blue lines or...
Yeah, exactly. Just like a draft. And my work is very clean. It's very digital. So that's all just because I start out doing the messy bits and then later go in and do it digitally.
Right.
Yeah, so this is the messy bit where I plan it.
You mentioned a notebook before. Still carry like a physical...
Yes, I think I've got it like in my bag next to me. Nice. No, I always have like a paper notebook with me. And it's funny because every time I think I'm in like a creative rut, it's usually just that I don't currently have a notebook.
Oh, right.
Like literally the other day I was like, I haven't drawn, like I have no ideas. And I went and bought a new notebook finally because I realized that was the issue, is that like my old notebook was kind of full and I didn't want to bring it around with me anymore. And I went and bought a new one and now I feel much better and all the ideas are flowing. So
like helps you think to be able to sketch.
Like you think that you can just use an iPad to do all your sketching, but I think pen and paper as a starting point is always like, that's never going to go away. Like that's always the standard like starting point.
Yep.
It feels natural to flesh out your ideas on paper. And it's nice to hold something physical.
That's true.
So I'm just gonna do like a little like rainbow thing, swirly thing, and then add in some sparkles. I've been very into like 60s graphics lately, so it's definitely influencing my work a lot.
Right.
Seeing a lot more like oranges pop up in my work, a lot more little like rainbows, like psychedelic kind of elements.
Like late 60s freedom movement.
Yeah, exactly. Like hippie posters and all that stuff.
All that fun stuff.
I love it. And it's funny when I get obsessed with an era like that, like I used to be a lot more obsessed with like 80s stuff, but now I'm like onto the 60s. It like leaks into all elements of my life. Like I'll start listening to like 60s music and watching like 60s films and just like getting really like stupidly obsessed, but
that's so much fun.
It's fun. Yeah.
How long will an era typically last?
A while. Like the 80s era for me lasted a long time, so I think I'm going to be into the 60s or the 70s too. Yeah, quite some time. I feel like with trends and with fashion, we're always kind of like taking a bit of influence from the past and like modernizing it. Exactly.
Cyclical.
It's always that's it. That's the word I was looking for. Okay, so that's like very basic sketch of what I want to do. I'm going to turn down the opacity again. Bring up the, I don't know, is it opacity or opacity? Like
I say opacity.
Okay.
It could just be being at like band camp with all these cool Americans that opacity has come through.
Maybe. Oh no. Okay.
Maybe that's where it's coming from. You do travel a lot, so you're allowed to pick up little bits here and there.
This is true. Like my accent changes quite a bit, which is weird. But
do you get more Australian when you travel or less Australian?
Far less Australian.
Far less?
Yeah, like completely. And even like I've never had a strong Australian accent to begin with, but yeah, no, I definitely get influenced by other people's accents.
I think I get more Australian.
Really?
I think so. I think I throw in more like ochre words.
Oh God.
And I didn't know I did that until actually I'm pretty sure last time I was in San Francisco and someone was like,
really?
oh yeah, so you just like never say that back home. Like,
They're like, who are you?
did you just g'day somebody? Like you are really milking this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It wasn't that extreme, but it was something
If
pretty,
I'm
pretty
overseas,
close.
yeah, and I'm like with other Australians, then suddenly I like completely change my accent. But
Right.
I'm not naturally a very like Aussie sounding person. Like my
No.
parents aren't like from Australia, so yeah.
Right.
But it was funny actually on our Adobe camp. There was one other Australian, like, and he, his accent was very, very strong, and we had to like get up on the bus and give like little intros. It was definitely school camp like vibe,
That's awesome.
yeah. And be like, "Hi, I'm Martina. I'm from Sydney." And then he got up and he like introduced himself and just sounded completely different to me. Like everyone was like, "Are you sure you're Australian?" 'Cause
Right.
he was just like very, very Australian accent,
It was a
which I
real
love.
Australian,
Like, I
yeah.
wish I had a really strong Australian accent sometimes, just to feel a bit special when I travel. But
G'day, Tim in chat.
who's on the chat?
I think Tim.
Just him.
Tim's down there. Claire's in there.
Hey guys.
Wayne's in there.
Oh, okay. Just quick update. So what I'm doing now, I've moved on to my vector brushes. So on the left, this is vector brushes. Again, I'm not very fancy. I always go for the basic round. And in terms of settings, I usually turn off pressure dynamics and velocity. Was it velocity?
It's both.
It's both.
Yeah.
I usually turn off the dynamic.
You're going to question it every
I know,
single
that's the
time
thing.
now.
Okay,
Yeah.
all these terms, like you don't ever really use them out loud unless you do a lot of live streams and YouTube tutorials.
Like when was the last time velocity or velocity
Entered.
entered your normal lexicon? Like you wouldn't ever just
No,
kind of be like,
even like opacity doesn't really come
It's
into
true.
my everyday.
it's just
like-
within the apps.
Yeah, exactly. All these terms that I know very well but never say out loud.
They should have taught you at Adobe Camp
They should have. Well, they teach me
The
the
glossary.
American.
Oh, that's true. That's the problem.
See, maybe that's it. That's it. So, okay, I blame Adobe. They taught me the American pronunciation.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, so I turn off pressure dynamics. So I'll give you a quick demo. If I'd had them turned on, then the harder I'd press my pen, the thicker they go. And I just don't like that. Like, I like it to be even all the way through. I don't like to really mimic real tools too much. Like I like it to look quite digital, quite consistent, and like definitely made on a computer. So
Yeah.
yeah, just
Because that's that vector.
that's
vector
my
crisp,
vector. Yeah,
The crispiness.
that's it. I love my vectors,
Yeah.
love my digital look. So yeah, turning that off, and yeah, I'm just going over it in a new layer with the vector brush. People always ask how I do smooth lines, and it's just adjusting the smoothing setting on
Right.
the side. Yeah, people are like, wow, like you just draw like so smoothly. I'm like, it's digital.
The
it's a
computer,
setting. Yeah, like,
the computer did it.
it's not me. Like, okay, so like if I was drawing a circle without any, like, look at that. That's terrible. But if I turned it up the smoothing, then it's like beautiful. So yeah, it's not me. I'm not special. I'm not skilled. It's the computer.
It's a good tip. I actually remember last time that you were on, you mentioned those things, and you're like, oh yeah, cool. So if you just want to do like flat kind of vector-based
Yeah.
stuff, like illustrations on top of things, you turn these settings off. And I was like, oh. And I seriously like I went home and changed them and played with them. I was like, oh, this works really, really well.
Oh my
like, it was really, really
gosh.
cool.
Right.
And I now also have an iPad Pro, and I was playing around with Fresco recently, and I was doing the same thing. I was like, what did Martina do again?
Yes,
I went back
turning
and
up-
watched the video.
Oh, did you
Turn it down,
actually?
yeah.
Oh, see, I'm a real life influencer.
Yeah, you're helping me, that's for sure.
Influence your process. Okay, that like weird circle was still on the screen. Sorry guys. Getting rid of that. And yeah, I usually have my smoothing setting somewhere between like 60 and 70. I find any higher and then it's like really slow to draw, and any
Right.
lower I get like really shaky. Oh, no. Why did I do that? No, come back. Okay. Wow. It's gone. All right, that's fine. I'll just redraw it.
And you can't see it because we don't have the camera shot in here, but you're just 2 fingers was your backspace.
Oh yeah,
then.
I was just like tapping the screen like mad.
Yeah.
That was what that was. Yeah. So yeah, it's 2 fingers to like 2 finger tap to undo, and then a 3 finger tap to redo. If that
Bring it
makes
back.
sense. Yeah, to bring it back, but then it didn't come back. So maybe I'm just not good.
JB in the chat, his accent is French Australian now.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is. So when
No, I don't know. It sounded pretty French to me today, too.
he's very French, JB, our JB.
But probably to French people, they're like, "Wow, what's that?"
That's the thing. He probably goes back to France and he's like, "G'day, bonjour."
That's it. French Australian. Yeah, I think mine's kind of going Australian/American/British, because those are the 3 places I'm in a lot.
Yeah.
But my mum's German, and I realized like she has quite a, not a strong German accent, but she definitely doesn't have an Australian accent. Like she speaks quite formally. And when I was little, people thought, like, I always got people asking if I was British, because I would just say things with a slight German accent, which they obviously didn't like understand. And so they're like, "Oh, she's British," which was just really strange. But
My wife gets that all the time.
Wait,
Like, where are you from?
what's her accent?
She's Australian, but
Oh,
she
what the-
enunciates.
Oh, is she
Which-
posh Australian?
That depends on whether or not she's watching or listening. No?
Interesting.
But she does. Yeah, she gets asked all the time. She's, Where are you from? She's like, Sydney.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just because she doesn't have like a...
Similar story. Yeah, I think my theory is that she just enunciates. She talks very clearly.
Yeah.
And so she'll very clearly say big words that I think the Australian accent is a little bit lazy about.
Yes.
I talk a little bit lazy sometimes.
No, you speak very well. You're on live streams. You have to speak well, I guess.
It's true. That's like a calligrapher having bad handwriting, though.
This is true.
Like, when I need to be clear, I can be clear.
Yeah.
But
Now we're speaking really clearly.
Yeah, we're
because we're thinking about
really
it.
focusing on it, huh? Yeah.
I can be very lazy with my words.
Yes.
Definitely.
Just let it all go.
I read a really fun theory, which I now tell everybody, even though I don't think it's actually like fact. But they say the Australian accent is basically like drunk British.
Drunk British.
Yeah, because back when like the settlers came to Australia, sorry guys, this is not, don't ever take
This isn't
what I
part of
say.
the tutorial.
This is, yeah, this is probably not real, but it's a fun theory. We used to be like a rum country. We like ran out of physical currency, like notes and coins, and so we traded in rum, which meant that people were kind of really drunk all the time.
Right.
And that's how our lazy pronunciation and our laid back ways
like it.
came about.
I like it.
So yeah, whenever people are like, "Oh, but the Australian accent, it's so nice."
Just a rum accent.
I'm like, no, it's just drunk. Rum accent. So yeah, I'm just putting in some like very basic little shapes. Less is more. That's my like go-to theory. I used to do really, really detailed work, like when I was in high school and stuff. I think you always go through a phase where you're like, oh yeah, the more detail, the better.
Right.
And some people stick with that, but for me, I went the other way and was like, no, I'm gonna go extremely minimal, very basic.
Well, seems to work quite well for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I do get people who are like, oh, but I could draw that. And I'm like, yes, but you didn't.
You didn't.
Exactly.
So true. I think it's like that with many facets of design as well. Website design, app design.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, but it's so simple. It just works really easy. And it's like, yeah, but there's a reason why that's very popular or very usable.
Yes.
Because it's correct. Like it's the right thing.
That's it. Exactly. And like, it's actually quite hard to make something simple. Yeah, it's quite hard.
That's true.
And I have a design background, so I did a design degree, and so I think I always, was kind of focused on like being effective and functional, and I don't know. Design is meant to be like not too complicated looking. Okay, so I'm gonna like color in some stuff now. Okay. Why is it not filling? Oh, because it's gone off the page, yeah. I have to say, it's not my natural state to be talking while I draw.
Right.
So I will just say random stuff. Usually
The
I'm
history of Australian language.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet you didn't expect you would be talking about that
No.
in the live stream.
Did not. Don't know where I'm going with this.
That's why live stuff is so good because, you know, if it was
Because you go
recorded,
on a
we could.
bloody tangent.
Yeah. Exactly.
And like all my like facade of being very eloquent is gone out the window.
So I remember when you were on last time, I think I know we did because I looked at it the other day.
Of course. Did your homework?
But actually I hadn't used Capture before.
Oh yeah.
Before you came on, and I felt like a very silly Adobe employee for not having played with it at that
fair
point.
Fair enough.
And then I played with it quite a lot when I was traveling, and so it just kind of brings me to about color, because I remember at the time you were talking about your color, that you use a very limited color palette.
Yeah, always. I think I always stick to like maximum of 5 colors, and usually one of those colors is white. So
Yeah.
I think that's one of the first things I learned in design school, and the first like rule that kind of inspired me. Like, I think limitations are good because they like actually help you be more creative. So if you say to yourself like, oh, I can use any color, then of course that's like overwhelming. But if you say like, let's stick to 5, it starts to narrow it down, and then you start to have ideas, and it just helps. So yeah, sticking to about 5 colors is ideal.
Nice.
Okay, I'm sick of this one, so I'm going to switch over to another drawing. This is an image from Rome, which I was at like 2 months ago. Yeah. So I'm going to do the same thing. Just going to add some cool stuff over it. So I'm going to do like a little pencil sketch. And I do like about Fresco that there are like the pencils and the pixel brushes. Like, even though I'm such a vector gal, it's nice to be able to like literally sketch before I draw, and like in digital.
Yeah.
Like, it's just nice. And they're very good brushes. Like, they're very, very realistic.
There's a lot of brushes.
There's a lot, yeah.
I think Kyle T. Webster, who we talk about a lot.
Yeah, he's the brush god. For anyone who's like not an Adobe nerd, like he's like the guy. He made every brush that you love.
I think he made so many brushes that Adobe just hired him as brush guy.
Is that how he got his job? Like, is that?
I don't know the actual ins and outs.
Okay.
All I know is
No, it's fact. You heard it from Flynn.
Yeah. All I know is that I've known his name for quite a long time in terms of creating brush and brush packs and things.
Yeah.
And then again, we're talking about, this isn't an ad for Max, but we've been talking about Max a lot. And then last year when we went on, he was the one that was on stage.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I know him. I've used his brushes before.
Which is crazy. Like, can you imagine being famous for your Photoshop brushes? Like, that's so niche, and I love it.
Right?
I love a niche fame. Yeah, no, I remember finding him on Instagram, and I was like, oh, he doesn't even have like a wild amount of followers, like, but he's Kyle T. Webster. Like, what?
Yeah. So I think a lot of the brushes now that sort of ship with Adobe releases, like in Photoshop, and definitely these in Fresco, were made certainly in part by him.
Yeah. I feel like I do not utilize the brushes, like the full technological capabilities of Adobe. Like, people are really into their brushes and like custom brushes, and like,
yeah,
you can go really deep down that rabbit hole. Yeah.
Totally.
But no, I just use the same 2 brushes. But I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it's not about fancy tools.
That's true.
It's just about your ideas.
Tim in the chat saying a really interesting facet of Aussie history centers around the Rum Corps and the Rum Rebellion. So chat is supporting Supporting your
They're
claim,
supporting
I
my
think.
theory?
And this is exactly what I'm going to do tonight is research
Is
the
fact
history.
check.
I love history stuff and I've never heard this before. So
Oh my
I'm
God.
super excited to...
I love it too. You know where I heard it? Like, I'm pretty sure. This is very... Yeah, another tangent. Love a live stream. Okay, I went on a ghost tour of like the CBD area.
Oh, you did that? Oh, I've heard of that.
My mum, she loves to do really random stuff like that, and I'm always free, so I came along, and it was actually awesome, and like I learnt a lot, and it was very historical with the occasional supernatural like
Right.
thing, but
So it's like a little bit of history mixed with them, and also there's probably ghosts.
yeah, exactly. And like it was a little bit creepy, but I liked it. Like Town Hall Station, that used to be a graveyard.
A graveyard?
Yeah,
I did know that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you know your stuff.
Well, I little tiny
That's
little
just
bits.
one fact.
That's the only fact I know. I was just really, really lucky that that's the one you brought
You're like,
up.
I actually know that.
Yeah. As long as there's no more follow-up questions, yes.
Yep. That was it.
I think Central Park is the same.
Central Park.
Yeah. The fountain.
Oh,
At the base of Central Park was also a
that's
cemetery, and it just got built over the top of.
wow.
Yeah. So.
I think a lot of these large parks must have been then,
Yeah.
which is very creepy.
I guess they were available.
Yeah, that's it. Where's a large plot of land? Like, again, how do we get onto this topic? No idea.
It's what we do when there's no cameras. It's just like,
I know.
like you're saying, it's like a live podcast.
It is.
With visual aid.
Yeah, except you get to watch me sketch.
History / sketching podcast.
Yeah.
Do you see, like, you're talking about haunted things, do you see like skulls and things in your future for artistic work?
For my work?
Yeah.
Never. Oh my gosh, no, I don't think so. I think my work will always be bright and fun.
Positive.
Yeah, very positive. I mean, your work's got to reflect you, and like I'm just, a bright, positive person, I like to think. So yeah, my work's always going to reflect that. If I was like more into the like dark stuff, maybe, but no.
Maybe
Who
you'll go
knows,
through
though?
phases like Picasso and just go through like a really dark
This is
gothic
true.
phase.
This is very true. I could.
You never know.
It's famous last words. Like,
Yeah.
who knows, next year I might be very goth.
We'll get you back on next year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've changed so much since last year. You just never know.
We were talking about your work before and some of the stuff that was coming up.
Yes.
And something that you recently did was create necklaces out of some of your artwork.
I did. That was a very good segue, actually, because we were talking about positivity. And
That's right.
Yeah. So the necklaces, they are little like blossom like flowers that I drew, and we produced them into nice little metal necklaces. And on the back of each necklace, so there's like 6 colors, and each color has a different like positive message embossed on the back. Because basically I had these I had a sample made, and I had the option of like having something engraved on the back, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll just put my logo, like whatever. And then when I was wearing it, like, testing it out, I found that I was always fiddling with my necklace and like feeling that embossed logo on the back. And it was kind of like I don't know, like an anxious habit, like to just like keep touching it. And I just thought, like, what if that was actually like a nice message that was like going to bring me comfort? That would be like a really nice idea. So yeah, that idea was born, and we created 6 different colors with 6 different messages that you can like get for yourself or gift to someone that you love.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And the response has been just like overwhelmingly good. It was definitely just a passion project. Like, I just wanted to make it. And so for people to react and just like actually love the product and buy it for their friends and their mothers and like, and share their stories as well about like why they're getting it. Like I had people say like, oh, my friend's going through a rough time, so I got her this, or like my mom is like going through a big like move or like change jobs, like all the different things that people are going through. And that was like a really nice way for them to like help someone they love by just giving them this tiny little gift. And
that's really sweet.
Yeah, so it was just like really, really rewarding. And my brother, he helps me run the online store, which is really great.
Oh, that's what brothers are for.
That's it. And he's definitely like the business brains. Like, I'm good with my stuff, but like running an online store is a completely different business to like being a freelance artist.
Yeah.
And yeah, I owe him a lot. He runs it.
Oh, that's so
perfectly.
good.
Yeah.
Good job, bro.
Yeah, well done. Shout out to Justin. But it was quite funny. Yesterday he sent me a video, and so all our packages that go out with the necklaces are bright pink because it's me and they have
Of
to
course.
of course they have to be bright pink. And apparently the local postman has been really curious as to why there are like hundreds of pink envelopes like
Right.
yeah, like flooding the mailbox. And yesterday my brother was dropping them off and he ran into the postman and he was like so excited because he finally figured out like what was going on. He was like, oh, you're the pink package person, like what are they, like what is in these packages?
It's so good.
It was really cute. So
love those things. He would have been going home, talking to his family about it,
yeah,
talking to his friends about it.
especially
What
because
could they be?
like what is in these pink packages?
What is in these
Like,
packages? Well,
just
I'm glad that
necklaces.
post person got
Yeah, like
you know,
now we have a new friend.
happy.
Yeah.
That's great.
Postman. Okay, so I'm turning down the opacity of that pencil layer and now I'm going in with a vector brush again. And yeah, usually when I'm drawing, I'm like at home or at a cafe, definitely not talking out loud.
Is that like your typical environment? Like, do you like to, I mean, I know you travel quite a lot, but even when you're home and like stationed at home for a while,
Yeah.
stationed at home,
When I'm back.
when you're at home,
Yeah.
I nailed it the first time. I should just left it at that.
It.
Do you get out a lot? Like, do you have a studio at home or?
No, I don't have a studio. Like, definitely not. I work from my bed or I work in the backyard. I'm like definitely avoid a desk and avoid like a proper setup. I just like love the idea that I can work from anywhere, so I try to really embrace that.
Yeah.
I love going to like a nice cafe. I love sitting outside. People are always like, why are you so tan? I'm like, because I can work outdoors.
Pretty cool.
But yeah, I don't have a permanent setup or even a permanent base.
Always mobile.
Always mobile.
Kind of the future, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it's not really so unusual now. Like when I started doing it even a year ago, that was like a little bit more unusual. And now people are like, oh yeah, I get it. Like a lot more careers are very international now.
yeah, exactly. Well, that's a really good book suggestion. Gert by David Hunt. I love this as like the history.
Oh my God, how are we onto this
It's
history?
so good. Yeah, I'm going to check that out.
That's a great
Thanks for the
great
suggestion.
tangent.
Love it.
Okay. And okay, so now I'm just gonna try and close the shape so that it's not going over me. Like I want it to go behind me, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna like do some weird magic.
Weird magic.
Yep, I don't really know how to explain what I'm doing, but I'm just like making the shape, I guess, close so that I can color it. And yeah, I should probably be more accurate with this. Yeah.
This is Adobe Live. This is like a rushed version of
This absolutely
your
is.
craft.
Yeah.
And also you have to talk over the top.
I know, and it's just not natural. Like, I'm usually like playing music and eating food.
What do you normally listen to? Like, oh, we spoke about this. The era music.
Oh yeah, okay. No, I actually
Not
don't
always.
listen to like era music while I'm work, but yeah, I am listening to more 60s music because I'm like influenced by it. But no, I have a playlist which you can actually go and follow, I guess, on Spotify, and it's called Beats to Draw To.
To draw to?
Yeah, Beats to Draw To. It's literally my drawing playlist.
Did you make it?
I did, yeah. Like it's my curated. I'm very into music and have very specific music taste, so yeah, that's my I'm very proud of that playlist. I know that like artists usually listen to podcasts or like live streams or something educational.
Yep.
But no, I listen to music easily, like 8 hours of music.
I think I found it.
Did you find it? Yes. It's got 170 followers.
186
Oh,
songs.
okay.
Sorry.
Wow. I'm like more excited about how many people are following my Spotify playlist than like.
Is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. You can tell by the album artwork.
Yeah, which I definitely made.
This is Martina's for sure.
My proudest moment. Yeah, people are like, yeah, you have like 170,000 followers on Instagram. I'm like, yes, but my Spotify playlist has 170. I'm so proud.
I'm sharing it with you, chat.
Oh, yay. Go follow it, guys.
Check it out. Get drawing. Question, can you show us some of the other work you've done with Fresco? So maybe at the end?
Yeah, absolutely.
Stuff.
Are we getting bored?
You can do that.
Definitely...
No, we've got a bit of time.
Okay, let me just fill in the colors in this. I'm going to go with pink because it's me. I like pink. Yes. Oh no. What's going on here? Oh yeah.
Michael was asking if it's better than Procreate.
I don't use Procreate, so I cannot answer that.
Yeah, I don't use it either.
I've never used it. I think because, like I said, like I don't seek to mimic real tools, and I think Procreate was like usually that's why people go onto that. Whereas I've always wanted something quite digital, so I just like never was interested. Okay, will this work? No. Yes. Okay, we
Nice.
did it. I'm so happy. Oh my god, no! I'm really not selling myself as like a pro, but it's a brand new app, guys. It's been out for like a month. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I'll show you something else I made. I made this the other day. Which was just like, I don't know if anyone watched my Instagram stories the other day, but this is just like what I did in bed, like for fun. I like to have like a nice little setup. Yeah, I think it's really important to kind of sit and draw for fun, especially if what you do for a job is creative.
Right.
Like, drawing for fun is just, I mean, it's like mindfulness exercises. Like, yeah, like it's just good to just sit and draw, listen to music, and like let your mind wander. And yeah, like just without it having like much of a purpose. Like this wasn't really going to go anywhere. It's not perfect, but yeah, that's my relaxation. It gets a bit confusing sometimes because like drawing is my passion and my hobby, but also my job.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I don't really have hobbies. Like
I like that. What do you do? Do you just like bust out an Excel spreadsheet and start writing emails to like get away from all the artistic, creative stuff you get to do?
Just so sick of drawing like all the time. But yeah, it is confusing. Like people are like, what do you do for fun? I'm like, I draw. And they're like, what do you do for work? I'm like, I also draw. That's all I do. Like, I don't know how to stress that.
So something like this, would you just draw it by hand, or did you have a sketch in your...
No, this was actually like freestyle kind of drawing, I guess. So I just did this straight onto the iPad. And I like to do that, like just have music playing and then just draw and like hope it works out kind of thing. So I think I still have the pencil sketch in here, maybe somewhere in these layers. Probably not. No. Anyway. Yeah, so I usually, like, I'm a very fast drawer and I like it. I think it's like actually a proper exercise to just like sit and draw without like fixing it along the way. Right. Yeah, and just see what happens. So, and some of my best work happens like that, like without planning it.
Have you ever used Adobe Draw?
Yes, I did use Adobe Draw a lot.
Is that what we used last time when we were on? When we were on?
Yeah.
Invited you on?
Yeah.
I think so.
I think it was Adobe Draw. So that was kind of like the old, not the old drawing app, but it was like the previous go-to drawing app, I reckon.
Well, that leads it to the question from Michael, who was asking, does it replace Adobe Draw? Does it replace Adobe Draw for you? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely does.
It's like another step in evolution.
Yeah, it basically, like, to me, it combines what Adobe Sketch and Adobe Draw were. So Adobe Sketch was like pixel brushes, and then Adobe Draw was vector brushes, and now they're combined.
They got together, and here we are.
Yeah, and a much better app. Yeah, and this is just more work. Also, I don't know if you saw me like scrolling through my drawings before, but those are not all my drawings. Those are my
now that looks like my iPad.
Yeah, these are like my niece and nephew's drawings.
They're still more talented than I am.
Oh, that's sweet. They have me to guide them, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love sitting and drawing with them. And they know that when they hang out with me, like Auntie Martina, like I'm the auntie they draw with. And like, yeah, there's no games on my iPad, only drawing apps. So like they can only do creative things with me.
Auntie.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. That's the one.
Claire was asking, is it compatible with other Adobe programs? Which is a really good question, because yes, it is. So like syncing things. I guess in your workflow, have you been like sort of doing anything and setting into Photoshop for anything, or do you not really have any need for that?
Sometimes I still do, just because like I'm very fluent in Photoshop. So like sometimes it's like, oh, this is a new app that I'm not 100% up to speed on, so I can just like take it into Photoshop,
into my safe space.
Yeah, into my safe space. Like I know Photoshop, known that for a long time. But yeah, you can actually export directly. So you go to export as, and you can export it as a PSD file for Photoshop, which is great. Like so useful. So yeah, I do that quite a bit if I just want to like quickly clean up things. I don't know if you can export to Illustrator yet. Who knows? That's
a good question. I should know the answer to that.
Find out.
We'll find out. We'll find out soon.
Hush. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good being on this creative camp back in July, because like this camp that they took us on, all the Adobe people, we were there with the people who actually developed like Fresco and some of the newer apps, and so I got to actually like ask them questions directly and like give them feedback, and I just thought that was so valuable that like they actually wanted to listen to us, like the artists who are using their apps, and like take on board our feedback. Like that was just, it was really surreal. I was like, oh, I actually got to talk to like people from the team who make the tools that like are integral to my workflow. Like that's, wild.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Might go back and finish this one.
What's your normal workflow for uploading? Like, I mean, we spoke about your very impressive Spotify following, but let's face it, it's
no one's here for that.
Curated feed of Instagram is off the hook. So
thank you. I know people are always like, "What's your technique?" Like, oh my god, wow, that was alarming. But I think I instinctually have a bit of strategy with my Instagram, because like I did study media and like social media, so whether it's conscious or not, like I think I naturally have quite a good knack for like marketing myself and posting in a timely manner, and
so it's not like something you have to think, oh no, what do I do, like how do I do this? Like it's quite natural to you. Yeah,
like it is quite instinctual at this point, which is great. But I don't really believe in over planning your content. Like I think that will always come across as a bit inauthentic. I believe that like there should be a bit of a mix. Like you should plan your content so that like your feed looks nice, but also allow a bit of freedom for those spontaneous posts that are quite timely and that you didn't plan, because they actually usually end up being the much better posts and like the ones that get the most engagement. So yeah.
Would you post something directly from Fresco, like straight to your feed, or would you send it to your phone first? Like, is there anything like within your
technology process?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we were chatting about it before. I always find it really interesting. Like, if you're gonna have your mobile lifestyle, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like, how do I actually do it? I've often just posted directly from the iPad. Yeah. Just export it as a PNG. Which is great for Instagram, at a 1-to-1 ratio, and then just upload it straight onto my feed. But otherwise I'll just save it to my Dropbox for like a later post if I don't feel like the timing is right.
Yeah.
Or my audience isn't ready.
They're not ready for this.
Not ready. It's too good. Or like I'm contractually not allowed to share it yet.
Yeah, also
There's that.
also important.
Okay, I'm trying to fill this shape and it's just like I can't figure out where the gap is because it's
not closed somehow.
It's not closed and there's so much pressure. I feel like, yeah, we'll get there. How are we going for time?
It's all trial and error.
It is.
We've been playing around for 46 minutes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, which has been cool.
That's fun.
If anyone has any questions, we are probably getting to the end. So if you do have any more
that's what I was thinking.
specific questions,
have we ignored anyone?
throw them out.
To be heard?
I don't think we've ignored anybody, but yeah, if you guys have any questions about the app, Martina, anything like that, yeah, next 5 minutes is probably a good time to ask.
I'm still bloody confused as to why this shape is not closed. Like, where is the gap?
Where is the gap?
If anyone watching has any clues, just wants to help me out, it's fine. I just won't finish it. Abandon it. I do want to go back to that other one though and fix up the colors. I'm not happy with them.
So when you were pulling in colors for these, you were just kind of pulling it in straight in from the...
Yes. I don't love to do that. I don't like to just go in and choose a color like that. I usually would prefer to come off a color palette that I've already prepared. That's one thing that I'm kind of waiting for Fresco to allow, because I have dozens and dozens of color themes saved to my Adobe color library, and for some reason we can't access them yet. I feel restricted.
I'm sure that's coming in.
I'm sure it's coming.
It's had that in Draw, right?
Yeah, we have that in Draw.
Yeah,
so I just
sure
thought it would
coming
be the same in Fresco. So I think it's going to happen. It's a new app that's still taking on board our feedback. But I did express that to them in person.
Was that your feature request?
Yeah, I was like, can you make sure we can access our color libraries?
All my colors.
All my colors, exactly. Yeah. That I've been collecting for years. I want to access them. And I can just go in and really specifically type in
the hex value or something.
Yeah, exactly. But no one's got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
No. But yeah, sometimes I'll just screenshot my old, that's really not a very technically good way to do it, but I'll just screenshot my color palette and then I'll use the eyedropper tool to grab those colors.
Do you find that brings them in slightly?
Yeah, it's not accurate, but it gives me a good base.
And then you can still play around with it. You're this is pretty close.
It's pretty close, exactly. And I do know where my colors are, my usual colors. I always go for quite a warm pink, leaning towards the redder area of the spectrum, and yeah, quite light, always slightly pastel. Yeah, that's good.
And what's next for you in terms of traveling? I think we may have covered it earlier on, but it is Adobe Max in San Francisco and New York and...
Yeah, not San Francisco, but...
Oh, because it's in LA this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in LA again. It's only my second time going, and both years it's been in LA, so I'm okay, I'm just back in LA.
Oh,
cool,
right,
yeah. I don't love LA, I don't know. I think I just really love New York, so I always compare it, which is ridiculous, because they're very, very different. But the weather is great there, so I'm excited for that. Sit in a cafe and get some work done. Exactly. Slash relax. Exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna do LA, and then I always just tack on a holiday onto every trip. Brilliant. Yeah, it's the way to go. I have no reason to come back. So I mean, I have no reason to come back. But I have no obligations back here, or yeah. So your brother can run the store. Yeah, I've really set up my life to be as mobile as possible. So, so that I can just disappear for months on end. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go to New York, possibly London, just because I want to relocate there next year. So I kind of want to touch base again before I make the big move. But yeah, we'll see. I like to play it by ear. And I've decided, your feed, somewhat planned, but not completely. Exactly. I mean, yeah, I think my instinct is to overplan everything, and so I'm constantly trying. Like, I think people get the impression because I'm like, oh, live in the moment, like so spontaneous adventure, but like I actually have to actively try to be that person, because naturally I just want to plan everything. But nah, the best stuff happens when you don't plan it. Nice. Including your Instagram content.
That's our quote for today.
Very meaningful life quote that I've just applied to Instagram. I'm just gonna redraw this heart like 1,000 times because I'm not happy with it. Or actually, you know what I can do? I can just copy the heart that I made before. Someone actually asked, can you copy elements from other layers? They asked that on my Instagram, not on this feed, so I will show you how to do that. So I'm just gonna delete this guy because I don't like him. No, actually I'm just gonna rub him out.
Because we have the marquee tool
That's right.
in here, which is pretty cool. So
yes,
Photoshoppers will be...
I forgot to explain. I'm using the marquee tool.
That's cool. That's
Yes.
why I'm here.
That's why you're here.
You don't
Okay,
normally
good.
have to explain your workflow as you're doing it.
Especially because it's very instinctual and I'm like flying across the page and then I forget that people are like, wait, what was that?
That's cool. It's
Okay.
cool. Highlighting
I'm not
love hearts
stressing,
here.
I'm just, justifying myself. Okay, here we go. So yeah, you can duplicate it and you can move them around. Add lots of hearts if you want.
All the hearts.
All the love. But yeah, I do love this tool. It's like very easy to use, and I don't think you could do this in Adobe Draw. I could be wrong, but I don't remember doing this.
I don't remember being able to do that.
Yeah.
No. I was pretty excited when I remember being quite excited when I saw that it was coming at launch for
Okay.
Fresco. So
it must have been like a new thing.
I think so.
Who knows what they're going to announce at Max this year?
Right.
I mean, like, who knows? Last year they announced that they were coming out with this app, and here we are.
So for those that may not know, when Max comes out, there's a lot of product and software updates that get announced.
Yeah.
Things that are available often kind of that day. They usually try to time things so it's available around the time of announcement, and then some things that are like, cool, next month you're going to have this, and here's the new thing we've been working on.
Definitely, like, I don't know, follow all the influencers that you know that are going, and like get the scoop if you can't go in person, because like last year they announced like the augmented reality app that they're releasing, and like that's like groundbreaking. And when I saw that, so literally since last year I was like, I'm gonna get into augmented reality, and like that's like changing my career, and now I'm into that, and like it's just so valuable, all that information. Like you want to stay ahead of the curve, and it's so exciting. Love it. Okay, this little guy's done.
Beautiful.
So yeah. And yeah, then I literally just go to publish and export as PNG. I can rename it.
Did you set your artboard up is that like a story dimensions?
Oh
or?
yeah, no. This artboard is just like, I tried to make it like kind of similar to like a 3:4 ratio,
Right.
which is like good for Instagram in feed post. But story would make sense. I could do a story one. I think for stories, like, maybe like 1600 by 900 is okay. Who knows? Yeah, so that would be like that.
Something like that.
Maybe I'll post it on my story now. That'd be cute. And my followers will be like, what is this?
What?
Like, no content. It's spontaneous content, guys. It's the best. Yeah, I want it to crop. That's great. Thank you. And then, ooh, do I do it?
Do you dare?
Yeah, do I dare?
Live?
Like, no, I'm not going to do
No,
it.
not gonna look in.
It's too risque.
Regret.
Not that spontaneous.
But it is possible.
It's possible.
For everybody out there. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
yeah, thanks for watching me draw and like ramble.
It was super cool. I'm glad that we could do this. Do it as a little bit of a special episode. Have you on at the same time.
Yeah.
Talk about what you're up to at the moment. Talk about the Mac stuff because
it's like a good little catch up since last year.
Yeah, we'll just do this every year.
Yeah, once a year.
What's going on, Martina? How are you?
And then I'll just be like, this is the newer app.
Yeah, exactly. Every time. Oh, that was super great. And so where's the best place to send people to find out more of your work? It's in Instagram and Spotify, right?
Yeah. Oh, and Spotify, because I'm Spotify famous now too, apparently. No, definitely jump onto Instagram. My username is @Martina Martian. So that's Martina, Martian. And you can also go to martinamartian.com where you can buy my necklaces, which is a great gift for Christmas.
Yep.
I'm going to quickly plug that. My brother will be very happy.
Awesome. Excellent. I've shared the links in the chat as well.
Oh, great.
So guys, go and check that out. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Thanks for those people who jumped in on the chat. That's really nice.
Yeah. Oh, I did miss a question. So sorry about that. Thanks for picking that up, JB. Relaying the question, where are the vector brushes?
Yeah, the vector brushes.
Just in the
top left, the third brush down. So the one with like the clean circle next to the brush. So that's a good way to think of it because it's clean vector lines.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining the chat.
Thank you so much.
See you later.